Separated by cosmic cabinets, Brandon and Logan are broadcasting the Nintendo Stuff Podcast live using their telepathic powers. My name is Brandon Miracle, broadcasting live from a green space, and if you look south of me in the video version, you'll see Logan Welliver also broadcasting from a green space. Welcome to the Nintendo Stuff Podcast. We had a very Pokemon-filled week over the last week, Logan.
Yeah, we did. Very Pokemon.
I think the most important Pokemon piece of information we received, though, for this episode 31
was the existence of Scorbunny.
Was the existence of Scorbunny.
Even more so than the announcement of the 8th generation. Is what was tucked underneath.
Well, speaking of Gen 8 of Pokemon, we had that direct, I believe it was Wednesday morning, where we got a 7-minute preview look at Generation 8, which ended up being called Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield.
I'm a big fan. I love that Nintendo has kind of gotten away from just like the colors, you know? Like they were kind of running low on like achievable like combinations of colors. They could get really weird if they wanted to, but at a certain point it was like, well, what if we have like other dichotomies, you know?
It all started with
X and Y, and
it started with Ruby and Sapphire, though you could make the case that those are also colors.
No, those I would consider those colors. Like just like platinum, you know? Like they're representative and their visuals are a certain way. Whereas like Sword and Shield, like those could technically be any color, you know?
Right. We should mention that the colors that they opted with ended up being red and blue again.
No, right. I mean, it's just another, like, those colors look good together, so just, like, throw off the association red and blue.
This is the third gen in a row that used red and blue.
Is it?
Yeah, we had X and Y. Sun and Moon was red and blue.
Right.
And then here we are again.
I would argue Sun and Moon was, like, yeah, it was, like, the orangish and
more of a violet, yeah. But, I mean, like, the basic hues of the colors remain the same. They know what they're doing.
No, they do. And they're doing a wonderful job with it, too. Because, man, look what we're getting. I mean, in terms of visuals, it doesn't look like a huge, like, upgrade or anything from something like Let's Go, which I wasn't, like, anticipating. They do have some, like, nice, like, shaders on there, though.
Yeah, and there seems to be like an active lighting engine too.
Mm-hmm. So I'm a big fan of what I saw.
A lighting engine on its own can be enough to take a game from, you know, standard definition all the way to HD and make the jump actually look, you know, comparable.
Yeah.
We had that happen like when Wind Waker HD was announced, and the only thing they really added, you know, was, you know, high definition textures and a lighting engine, and that made all the difference on its own.
Right. You know, it's actually it's interesting to think about like how much has gone into like what we are looking at, you know? Like because the visuals continue to evolve, the even like the actual avatars, you know, look a lot more people-ish than they used to. You know, they used to be these little sprites, and then the sprites got a little bit bigger, and then they got like bigger features in their 3D, but that's because they were on like a really small screen. And then they just threw a bunch of clothes on them too. They're like, hey guys, like we know we started doing like all this like clothes stuff in like the last few games, but like we're just gonna go all in on that. Like, and you can just tell. And so I don't know, there's a lot to love about what we were given, you know, like this is what you can expect. There's gonna be other stuff, but like here's a taste. And I was very tantalized. I'll say that.
I think more so than just the visuals on their own, one of the things that stood out to me a whole lot was just how full the world felt. Like there was a lot of buildings, a lot of prop type materials, just a lot more in the physical world than I'm used to seeing in Pokemon.
Yeah.
Even so much in the background, like you see these rolling hills and you can see trees. At distances that we haven't been able to see before. Just makes Pokemon feel like a living, breathing place, which is something that I don't think they've ever quite achieved, at least not on this level.
No, I mean they've been stepping towards it the last few generations. Even a lot of the things they did with Sun and Moon. I mean, that was big because like one, they got rid of
The
the
grid,
grid,
yeah,
you know? And that was like huge to me. I was like, I can't believe we didn't cast this off sooner, right? But all of a sudden you get to a point where you're like, wait, why are we having the game function this way? And they just cast it off. I'm like, well, what else could happen? And so the game looks a lot, yeah, just more like open, and but at the same time, like the design of the region is it was so clever. They just like, if you look at like the imagery that they, like they had in the direct,
hmm
like it looks like a sword,
yeah, it
right?
does.
And that's just kind of, it's beautiful,
And it
like.
also looks like the UK, which it's based on.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, there were a lot of rumors about it being based on the UK, and that ended up being true.
Yeah.
Um, I think one of the other things that stood out to me, from a visual standpoint, is the Pokemon. They're using the same models that they've been using since X and Y, which is fine because
Mhm.
there's like over 800 of them, and I imagine
Yeah,
that
there's
takes
a
a while.
lot. You might as well just like wait a while before you just like do a full reset every
That
once in a while.
said, they're using kind of a cell shaded look.
Mhm.
When you compare the look to Pokemon Let's Go is just a basic, texture work, which looks nice on its own in HD, but they
Yeah.
opted for that cell shaded look, which I think complements their kind of colorful backgrounds a lot more in this
Right.
case. And it also works well with the lighting engine, which we've already seen from like, back with Wind Waker again. So I have to compliment them on that choice because I think it looks really nice.
No, I would agree. I would agree. It looks quite nice. I mean, like even with like I've seen side by sides with like Pikachu from Let's Go and then Pikachu from Sword and Shield, and like it's the same model. Like they're not really that different other than the actual shader, and the shader that they put on the Sword and Shield Gen 8, like it looks really nice. It looks really nice. It feels much more Pokemon than just like no definition on the outside,
Yeah.
right? So having a border and having some of those lighter and darker uh things going on, like it looks really nice. So
Yeah. So some of the gameplay things that we got to see in the trailer, and there was not many, by the
mhm.
way. uh, we're still not locked to a grid, so no worries about that. It's much like Sun and
I
Moon.
didn't think we'd be going back.
I mean, you never know in this day and age.
uh
Ooh. All right, my nose is running. Uh, in addition to that, we got to see a random encounter in tall grass, so we're back to basics as far as that's concerned.
mhm.
No, at least from what we've seen, there's not going to be any wild Pokemon on the map that you can encounter.
Right.
Which I have to admit that I am a little bummed about that. Um, but it's not enough of a thing, or I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna buy the game. I'm still gonna buy the game.
Oh, right. Right.
But that's just something I hope that they kind of lean back into just a little bit. I know a lot of people weren't too keen on it, but it is something that
Even if it's just
appealed to
like
me.
aesthetically, like could you imagine some like just like Pokemon as like prop pieces in more places, right? Could you
I hope
imagine
so.
just like, a Weedle on a tree? It's not trying to mess with you or anything or attack you.
It's
It's
just
just
up there.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So,
there's plenty of room for that, specifically since we're on Switch. They've already
yeah,
shown
and
us that the screen can handle a ton of Pokemon at once.
mhm. Yeah. And so, I mean, you also make the random encounter so you can encounter some of those Pokemon. But like, yeah, just throw more Pokemon in there. I mean, the we've got more resources. It seems like when Nintendo gets more power, they lean into the gameplay. Where some people are like, let's just make the game as pretty as possible. And then they spend all their time and resources and making it look good, but not actually being interesting, which if you want it to be interesting, sometimes you have to dedicate resources to making that interesting as opposed to making it look nice,
Right.
or like not nice. It looks nice, right? It's just good good visual design, but overall you're not pumping resources into, just visuals. So Nintendo, it always seems like they're gonna do something really great. And so, like, the difference between working on the 3DS and working on the Switch, like, it's gonna be really exciting to see, like, how it evolves the experience overall. Um, because I don't think Let's Go really did that. It just kind of dipped its foot in the door, like, hey, look, we can have a lot of Pokemon on screen at once, right?
That
So,
game focused on changing the core gameplay of Pokemon.
mm-hmm.
Uh, and that's something that I think I wanted to see more of in this trailer. That said,
Right.
we got a very, 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 very tiny glimpse at the gameplay of Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
So I can't comment on that
It
too
was
much.
only a 7-minute direct, and not even all that time was gameplay. So,
Thanks, Rand, for being in the chat, even though you don't like Pokemon and tossing us a like. Much appreciated. We also got to see a gym. It appeared to just be like a grass gym.
yeah.
What's super funny to me is like we got to see inside the gym too, and it's this huge stadium that houses tons of people. But when you look at the town that the gym is in, there's like 5 houses and a bunch of farmland. Like, where are all these people coming from? But that said, I thought the visual elements of that was really cool. It felt like the anime, when Ash went to the Indigo League and he
Mm-hmm.
was in the stadium and there was a huge crowd of people watching him battle. That's something they've never captured in the games before, and it looks like they're finally going to get it here, and that's super cool to me.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm really excited to see, like, the presentation in this game, right? Because they've toyed with it in previous generations and cinematics and stuff like that. But I'm really interested to see how they actually do that, if that, like, changes significantly.
Jonathan Harsh says, "Can we talk about the remix they used in the trailer for a moment?" It doesn't immediately come to mind.
Oh,
It was
well, I'm
amazing though.
sure it was. I mean, I watched the presentation and I was, kind of impressed. Though I only watched it once, right? Because the story here is, I was supposed to wake up early and I did, and then I fell back asleep and I missed it. And Brandon reacted to it, and then the reaction got taken down. But
That was a morning.
yeah, so I only watched that once, and I kind of ruminated on some of the information that was in it, over the next few days. But I don't remember. I'll have to it's only 7 minutes. I'll just have to give it another watch here pretty soon.
I think the biggest tease in the initial gameplay trailer was that very end shot when the trainer appeared to be in some kind of soccer uniform and then started walking onto the gym field.
Mm-hmm.
What's that all about? I feel like there's a big element here that they've not shared with us yet.
Yeah, are they, like, hiding, like, new aspect of this generation? Like, they have to have done something new, right?
Well,
There's something that just we're not going to expect, is there not? Like,
hold on, my encoder died.
okay. Dun, 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 dun. Is back.
I'm outputting 0.
You're outputting 0.
And then it shot up to whoa. Now it's over 10,000.
Is it running? Are we back?
No, it's super sporadic. Are you able to watch it?
I mean, I'm watching it right now.
Are we good?
I think we might be good.
Oh, we're still going crazy.
Are we?
Yeah. It says we're dropping frames, even though it doesn't look like it in the stream.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
It says we're dropping frames. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Let me know if anything happens again.
Are you encoding on software or hardware?
It's hardware.
Okay.
You said you see it? Oh, it's happening again.
Yep. Yay! Yay for stream problems.
They do a speed test.
So, so yeah. For Are we able to have a conversation here?
I don't.
Is that realistic?
I don't know. It looks like it's back again, but I can't guarantee it's gonna stay that way.
Okay.
Chat, are we all right? Let me know. I don't know what just happened.
I think we're good. I think we're good.
Okay.
I think we're good. Show must go on.
So
We're talking about Pokemon.
the gym battles. One thing that stood out to me, like, I mean, what we were talking about for those who are just tuning in is the end shot of the initial trailer where the trainer is wearing what looks like to be a soccer or football uniform and walking onto the gym field. If you look at their shoulder, there's like this new like gym battle insignia on it, and you can also see that out front of the gym itself. And over on Game Explain, Derek Bittner did an analysis of the initial trailer, and he pointed out that logo appears, in the Japanese logo for Pokemon Sword and Shield. But he also pointed out that X and Y's initial Japanese logos also featured the Mega Evolution logo. Before they showed us that. Pokemon Sun and Moon showed us the Z-Move logo before they showed us that. So this is definitely a big element to the game that they're not talking about yet.
Right.
So my initial impression is that this is something that's going to involve the trainer more, specifically over the Pokemon.
Right.
Whether that be like physically playing a sport with your Pokemon or if you're more involved in the battle itself. I'm really interested in seeing whatever direction this ends up taking.
Right.
But whatever it is, it's going to be like the main selling point of Generation 8.
It's really been a minute since I've been able to get into a Pokemon game, right? Like even with like X and Y, like I never finished X. Or was it Y? I think I got Y.
I think you had Y.
Yeah. And then I had Pokemon Sun and I haven't finished that as well. So I don't know, maybe it's me, maybe I don't think it's necessarily the game because I remember the first few games very very fondly, right? And it's not like the games have like changed so drastically that you still couldn't get some of that experience. So I don't know. I hope this is the one. I play my Switch a lot more than I've really ever played my 3DS. And depending on whatever else they add, whatever attractions, amusements that I can experience within the game, I think it'll be interesting. Like, why am I walking out into the stadium? Why am I doing these things? I don't know, how are you utilizing the power of the Switch compared to what we had on the 3DS?
This is also the game where they really show us what they can do with online.
Yes.
I think that's going to be probably the biggest component of the overall package.
No, oh yeah, definitely. The competitive online scene is gonna have to be like, they're gonna have to up the production value. And I think that'll be exciting in and of itself.
I'm tired of battling over local wireless and online on this generic blue virtual stadium that they keep using. Can we have a real stadium, please?
Yeah.
And also maybe some additional modes, additional ways to play with your friends online, I think would be appreciated. This is not the time to kind of just go halfsies on that. Especially when we're paying $20 a year for it.
Right. Whole $20 a year for it.
But,
20
Pokemon Sword and Shield
yeah.
is going to convert sales for online,
Oh, no, it definitely will. I mean, but
assuming it
at the
required
same
it.
yeah, I was about to say, like, they might not require it. I mean, I think they would for this game. I think that'll be a huge driver, especially once they start to throw um other games on the, you know, like the NES service,
Hmm.
which will inevitably not just be the NES service at that point. Like it's kind of I mean it's kind of what everybody's been asking for. It's like a ever growing collection of Nintendo titles, and we're gonna see SNES, and I imagine we'll see Game Boy at some point. You know, throw the friggin' red and blue on there. How many people are just gonna be like, wait, I have online, and then I get to play all of these older games as well, um, that are I played on my Game Boy growing up. Um, I think Nintendo's doing a lot to build their branding, and they have for Switch and for Pokemon, and these things are kind of stronger than they've ever been. And Nintendo's in a really, really good place to sell this to a lot of people and succeed uh, very easily because, I mean, at this point, they've just set themselves up for success.
Yeah, for sure. I guess the last thing to talk about for Pokemon Generation 8 is the look that we got at the 3 starters, being
Hmm.
Scorbunny, um, Grookey, and Sobble. And you and I have
I'm
already decided we want.
Yeah. Now that being said, okay, obviously we're score bunny boys, right? That's not a question. You can also identify with your, you know, little cult that you want to form around these characters. Like what happens every generation cycle. And you can join that over on our Discord if you want. But we're Score Bunny Boys, but all three of these starters are fantastic. Like I love all of them. And I wonder how much like their design was like, okay, what are we gonna do with all that new Switch power, right? Like, how are we gonna like throw these characters together? And maybe I don't know how much of like a difference that made. How they all have like something on top of their heads. So Scorbunny's got his ears, and Grookey's kind of got this like tuft of hair, and then friggin' Sobble, has got that like I imagine it's like a fin or something like that, right?
Yeah, I
I
would
don't
assume
know.
so.
I love all of them, and it's really I guess I'll just have to play 3 different times and just or I'll just collect all of them, right? Because that's the whole deal. Just somebody get me all of the Sobbles I need as well.
My initial reaction on these 3 Pokemon was kind of lukewarm. I think
Oh, really?
Scorbunny, yeah, Scorbunny was the one that stood out to me the most right at the beginning of the reveal of all 3 of them.
Uh-huh.
But there's like a samey quality to all 3 of them. Like you said, they all have something on top of their head, but that could just be theming. Um,
Mhm.
I imagine they'll stand out individually more once they evolve.
Oh, no, certainly. Certainly. No, I love that these are what the starters look like, you know? And that's always kind of like the case. Like they look younger and cuter, and then they get older and they look like more angry or regal and kind of exuding more of a mature um aura, you know.
You grow up
But
with your Pokemon.
these ones are just like, ah, I'm like adventurous, I am reckless and just excited and very happy, you know.
There's
Sobble
Sobble.
Sobble looks like he's just like amazed at everything.
Oh, he's
Uh,
definitely anxious.
uh-huh. And then you get Scorbunny, he's like, oh, look at him. Look at all of this. Grookey's just kind of like content. Yep.
He's the chill
All
one.
right. He's the chill one. So, uh, but yeah, I want to be able to say that I'll get one of these games and play through it and feel actively excited about playing through it, you know? Um and the more Nintendo can do to like convince me of that, the better it will be.
Or Game Freak, rather.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we shall see though, because there's still a lot of information that we don't know. Like we don't know the evolutions. That's kind of the next thing I'm looking forward to is the evolutions. Like, what are they gonna look like? You know. But at the same time, like maybe I just want to avoid the internet, which I mean that's not gonna happen, right? I'm gonna see the evolutions before these games launch.
It's
Um,
gonna be hard
but
to
like
miss.
yeah. But if there was any point at which I could be like, no, I don't have to see it. Like maybe I just go in blind and just discover it when it happens, because that would be a really fun experience as well.
I
But
think the thing I'm looking forward to most is learning about that core new mechanic that they teased at the end of the trailer.
yeah.
Pokemon Company and Game Freak, they drop trailers for the Pokemon games with each generation, like, pretty frequently. I don't think it will be that long before we see the next little bit of information for Pokemon. They like
Hmm.
showing us, 2 or 3 Pokemon from the new Pokedex at a time. Because we haven't seen any Pokemon outside of, the starters, or at least new Pokemon.
Right, right, yeah.
So
All the rest have been mainstays.
they have until the end of the year. They said holiday and not November, which surprised me. But I'm pretty sure it's still just going to be November.
I mean that's usually what I anticipate, but it gives them a little bit of freedom, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, I anticipate like mid to late November for this.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll be that long before we hear what's next. This game will probably also get a showing at E3. I know Pokemon X and Y got shown at E3. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee got a little bit at E3, even though we had already seen everything for that game at that point, so it was kind of
Hmm.
pointless. Reggie, why you do that to me, man? Um, so yeah, I think we can move on. February 27th was Pokemon Day. Uh, I don't know if that's an official holiday, but it is. But it is the release date of Pokemon Red and Blue in the States, I want to say.
Hmm.
And in celebration of Pokemon Day, uh, they also dropped a trailer for Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution. Also, February 27th in Japan. My mistake. For Red and Green. So Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution is exactly what it says it is. It is a remake of the original Pokemon movie, Pokemon the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back, as a
Hmm.
CG animated feature. This is the first time Pokemon's done this, I want to say.
Hmm.
Logan, have you seen any of the materials for this yet?
I just kind of put on the trailer now, just looking at the visual because I heard it was 3D, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. Because like if done right, the 3D could look amazing, right? And some of the footage I've seen, I'm digging the art direction. I'm digging the actual like animation. I'm honestly like surprised that the animation looks as good as it does, because I would have just anticipated like I don't know, like thinking like an adaptation of the anime, just looking making everybody look like they're anime characters. But this kind of strikes a balance of like a more like Western style of animation.
Yeah.
Like they're able to strike a really, really good balance, and it looks really natural. And even some of the textures, like Meowth at the end of this trailer here,
Oh, his
like
fur.
he's yeah, you see the little fur. Like yeah, it looks like the Game Freak Pokemon company's been working pretty hard behind the scenes, to make like when Pokemon is put in any context that it makes sense. So whether it's Detective Pikachu or this, that they can step in and like, okay, like it has to look like it, right? Like, we can't go too far. We can't just make, Bowser a T-Rex. Like, it
Right.
doesn't work like that.
They know
And
where to draw the line.
Mhm. And then the product looks great. Like, this visually, like, wow. Like, I was like, and even those first like two shots in the trailer, right? There's the okay, we're going through this jungle, forest, these ruins, and then going through this water, through all of these like they really sell it right off the back, like, and then show some water shots and a big. They're selling what they're doing here, and they're selling it really well. So I'm
Yeah.
a big fan, and I yeah.
It's clearly a if I don't know if I want to say 1-to-1, but it is a very true remake of the movie. When you look at that
Mhm.
trailer, you can point out every little scene and be like, okay, that's from the movie, that's from the movie, that's from the movie.
Right. And so, like, this would be interesting to me because I've never seen Mewtwo Strikes Back, right?
Oh, so this would be the first time for you.
Yeah, so if I just go see this, like, it's fresh. I've never seen the 2D animated one. So,
Wow, that's interesting because Mewtwo Strikes Back was like an unbelievable success in the United States.
right,
I mean, it
right.
came
Well,
out in the heat of
I
Pokemania.
wasn't into Pokemon. I mean, I played some of those games, but I never went and saw the movies and watched the show. Like, that just wasn't something I did.
And now you have the chance.
Yeah, so I think this will be interesting. I think I want to see this movie, but I also say I want to see a lot of movies, and then I don't go see them. It's because I don't have any friends to go see them with.
I'd
So
go
my
with you,
friends
man.
to, yeah, but I'm like, you're all the way up there,
I'm all the way up
all the
here.
way up in Rock, all the way up there.
All the way up in
So
this box, and you're all the way
it's
down in that one.
somewhere up there. uh,
uh,
but
yeah. My hope for this movie, and I'm assuming this would be the case, is that that they premiere it here in the United States maybe a couple months after the Japanese release. That's what they did with The Power of Us, which I
yeah,
really enjoyed. Um, one thing going to be a little strange is that they're going to use probably the newest or the most current Pokemon animated series voice cast. So we're not going to have Veronica Taylor, or any of the other original actors for the Pokemon the first movie. So this will be kind of an interesting
mhm.
take. Uh, I'm not. I'm going to be honest. I'm not like pleased with the current Ash Ketchum, or
Right.
or the way that they direct Ash, in the dub. He's like super mega ultra optimistic about everything. He seems to go through no change at all, and his voice grates on my ears just a little bit. But that said, uh, there is quite a conflict in Mewtwo Strikes Back, so I'm interested in seeing how they approach that.
Mhm.
I hope the movie premieres in 3D because this looks like the kind of movie you want to show in actual
Yeah,
3D.
it's been a while since I've seen a movie in 3D, so I'll have to. If this does come out in 3D, that would be muy bueno.
I mean, even just looking at some of the shots from the trailer, it's like it's clear that they've designed this with some nice, cool zooming 3D shots.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to see that. In addition to that, after the movie premiered in Japan, they added like a 15-minute section to the movie for the TV broadcast version. Uh,
Okay.
it's a fairly important piece of the movie. You can watch it without it, but I think it makes the film better. Uh,
Yeah.
and my hope is that they animate that into this version of the movie too.
Okay. So it's a
Um,
more complete narrative.
yeah, in fact, that's what they call it. The Japanese version is called Mewtwo Strikes Back Complete Version.
So yeah, we literally just didn't release all of it when we released it initially. Oh my
When
god.
they released
Is
it
that
on,
like a Kingdom Hearts game? It's like,
this is
oh,
the
is
final
that
mix edition.
this is the actual game, guys. You've been missing out because there's been this crucial information that we did not put in the original release.
Well, what's so aggravating about it too is like the American release on DVD. They had that section of the movie as a special feature and didn't put it in the actual film where it belongs. I've
Because
only
it
ever
was. Oh my god.
I've never seen the entire movie as one complete thing. I've always had to watch the other part on YouTube first.
Oh, that's so good.
And I guess the last thing about this, I wonder if they're going to reanimate Pikachu's Vacation, which was the first like pre-movie, animated short. It's
Uh-huh.
21 minutes long. I love it. It doesn't need to be remade, but I'd be okay if they wanted
Yeah.
to.
That would be fun. That would be fun. It's fun to see like how Pokemon and Nintendo is like branching out into other forms of media, right? It's because we're getting the Detective Pikachu movie, we're getting this. Even just like, a lot of Japanese media in general, is getting a lot of attention. I mean, Broly did fantastic in the West. I
Broly
mean,
was a phenomenon in the West.
yeah, man, like it was around for a lot longer than I was anticipating. Even though I never actually went out and saw it. I was like, every time I was like, I should go out and see it. It's like, oh, it's still showing.
At least it's
So
coming to Blu-ray in a few months.
yeah.
Next month, actually. Uh, so this isn't the only Pokemon movie we got a trailer for. We also got a new trailer for Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Pokemon Day was really good for Pokemon fans this year.
Mhm.
Have you seen this new trailer yet?
I think I started to watch it. I don't think I've watched the whole thing yet.
Why don't you go ahead and take a look at it in the background while I
Yeah.
start talking about it.
Yeah, man. Talk away.
So, Pokemon Detective Pikachu's second trailer gives us a much closer look at the movie. We get to see a lot more scenes. We get to see a lot more Pokemon. We get to see an up-close shot of Snubble, and he's big, with a big old head. And there's one part of the trailer I don't want to talk about until you see, so I have to wait until you've seen that part.
Uh-huh.
Um, they hone in on the comedy a little bit more in this trailer. We get to see a lot more of Ryan Reynolds being funny, or just
Uh-huh.
being Ryan Reynolds, which plays off really well. I think it's a good character for Detective Pikachu. There's a scene where he's talking to Tim and he keeps slapping him in the face with his tail as he turns around trying to piece together the puzzle. And it's really funny. He keeps slapping him in the face and doesn't even acknowledge the fact that he's doing it.
Right.
There's
I
another
keep seeing that one meme going around of the one Pokemon like behind the counter, like at the
Ludicolo.
diner. Yeah.
Ludicolo is a Gen 3 Pokemon, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and he's the one serving Pikachu his coffee.
Right, right.
Also, we get to see Pikachu love his coffee, which is a main like character point for him in the Detective Pikachu game. So I was happy
Mhm.
to see him sipping his coffee and loving it.
Right.
There's one meme I saw where it's like a 2-panel meme. There's one where he's holding his cup, another one where he takes a sip, and the meme just says, "He take a sippy," and I love it because he's so
Yeah.
dang cute.
Yeah, no, wow. Yeah, I mean this movie just looks better each time I see a little bit more of it, right?
It's a miracle, honestly, that the movie looks as good as it does.
Yeah, especially just the Pokemon. Like that was always the worry. It's like if live action stuff like are the Pokemon gonna look bad? And they don't. They look really good.
Yeah, and they really hone in on it in this trailer. We get a lot of close-up shots of Pokemon. Trying to think of some other ones we got to see. Lickitung is in there, and that's an
Yeah, yeah.
experience. Oh, there's also this really cool shot where Blastoise is fighting what I think is either a Haunter or a Gengar. And it's just like a full-on Pokemon battle, which we did not get to look at in the original trailer. So it's exciting to me
Right.
that we're gonna get to see a little bit of that in this trailer or in this movie.
And that look at Mewtwo near the end too.
Yeah, so that
Like
was the big surprise in this trailer.
it's like, oh, he's here, guys. Ooh.
Yeah, they're really kind of trying to draw the attention of the the old Pokemon fans when they show Mewtwo on the screen at the
Oh
end there.
yeah, no, every parent right now who played Pokemon growing up is gonna take their children
Yeah,
to see this movie. That's what's gonna happen.
and they're both probably gonna have a good time, and I think that's really
Mhm.
exciting. Um, yeah, Mewtwo shows up at the end. For those of us who have played the video game, that does not come as a surprise, but for those of us who did not play the video game, which is going to be the overwhelming majority of the people who see this movie, that was a shock. No pun intended.
Right.
Um, yeah, like you said, every time I see new stuff for this movie, I get more excited. We're only 2 months away, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
I hope we walk away from the theater having thought we had a great time, because if I don't, I'll be a little disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I think we'll have a good time. I think I'll probably like really enjoy it. And man, yeah. Like give me more Detective Pikachu, give me more Pokemon. Like I'm kind of getting to that point where I need to boot up my 3DS and finish Y, finish Sun, and just glide on into the rest of the year with these movies and with these new games coming out.
Man, I agree. So that was all the Pokemania. It feels like the 90s right now with all this Pokemon stuff happening.
Can you believe it's been like almost 20 years since the 90s?
I don't want to think about that. No, I really don't.
Like, wow. We've time has passed.
And I remember back when the Pokemon toys went to Burger King for the first time, and they had all those cool, like, little, like, Pokeballs with the gold cards inside of them, and I wanted
Mhm.
them so bad. They also had the Pokemon Tops, which were just little Pokemons with little butts, but they were tops and you could spin them. I miss that era. Sandman says Pokemon's making a glorious return. It really feels like it.
Yeah. No, it is. It very much is.
Though for a lot
And
of us, it
I've
never went away.
yeah, that's like it never really went away. I mean, there was certainly dips in popularity, but I mean, instead of just tanking, like nobody thought about it, like it just kind of ducked below, and then you release a free to play Pokemon game where you can collect Pokemon wherever you want to go, and you make that experience accessible. And who's not going to be playing some form of Pokemon and going to see these movies? Ooh,
Even my mother played Pokemon Go for a bit, and
yep.
she's like doesn't have any care for Pokemon at all, and she doesn't play video games, so that really surprised me.
Yeah.
But speaking of video games, the EVO 2019 lineup was officially announced, and I'll go ahead and go through the games that will be played on stage there. We have Under Night and Birth, Blade Blue Cross Tag Battle, Soul Calibur 6, Tekken 7, Mortal Kombat 11, Dragon Ball Fighters, which broke viewership records at EVO last year, by the way, Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, and the newly announced Samurai Showdown. This game was announced during the stream where they announced the EVO lineup. It's kind of cool.
Oh, cool.
Also, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeet.
Not being featured at EVO 2019 is Super Smash Bros. Melee, which I've seen a lot of people not being happy about.
I think it's a combination of, okay, do we really feel like we need like two Smash Bros games at the same event? I mean, it's pretty clear to me that Ultimate's the better game. Some Melee purists might disagree, but I also don't listen to Melee purists. Um and then also on the other hand, like it is kind of maybe partially Nintendo forcing Melee out of the scene.
I'm
And
wondering if that's something to do with
so
it.
I
Yeah.
think it could be a combination of the two. I don't know which one's bigger. So I can understand if you just have a general like is Nintendo being greedy again, because that's what happens. Corporations get greedy. It gets out of people, just they get grabby. So sometimes they overstep a boundary, right? But it could just be, hey guys, maybe we don't want two Smash Bros. And we think Ultimate's better. We think it's more fun, and we don't want to like divide that camp, you know.
And that said, we
Um,
went quite a few years having both Melee and Smash 4 at Evo. So
mhm.
this is kind of a turn. This is going to be Ultimate's first Evo.
Well, Ultimate is, I mean, it's a faster game, not than Melee, maybe in some ways, um, but it's certainly a faster game than four.
Oh, absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, maybe that just kind of also pushed Melee out because more people were just watching Ultimate in general, you know.
There's also a lot of Melee players who are actually playing Ultimate competitively, and this happens
Hmm.
a lot, where a new Smash game comes out and a lot of the big Melee players will jump on the
Yeah.
new game for a little bit, see if they like it, and if they don't, they'll go back to Melee, which is fine. But a lot of them are sticking around. That said, like I do feel bad for Melee players because this is like the grandest stage you can get, at least as
Yeah.
far as
Well,
as far as the
yeah.
fighting game community is concerned.
Here's what I'd say to those really adamant Melee players, right? People who are like, "Why can't we still want to do these tournaments? Organize your own, right? Get something local going, talk to people in other cities, organize, associate with each other, and just build networks." And man, if you want to
I've
have
got
the
good news for
coolest
you,
mate,
man. That's how
what's that?
that's how the Melee community grew. That's how it
Yeah.
became what it was.
So I mean, yeah, again, it's like just because like that's not at Evo, like it's not the end of the world, right? Like you still do these things, and you don't have to associate directly with Nintendo because Nintendo will be, they'll try to shut things down and try to run it their way, right? And if you really want that independence, just like reach for it, you know.
We have big
So
tournaments like Genesis, which had Melee, obviously. There's Super Smash Con every year. There's Summit. There's plenty of grand stages for Melee to appear at over the course of the
mhm.
year. It's just a little sad that they're not going to be tied as closely to the fighting game community, which has always been an issue for Smash Brothers.
Right.
But at least Ultimate's there. Um, I hope that maybe in a few years after the big push for Smash Ultimate kind of dies down a little bit, that maybe there could be room for Melee to come back to Evo as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's also like, um any of these games could leave and come back, and just whatever people are playing at the time, maybe there's a resurgence in Melee popularity, because I definitely think the conversation isn't quite as active as it once was. And more people are just kind of like, why would you play Melee when you could play Ultimate, um
Yeah, I mean it's
but
a lot of the more I I want to phrase this in a way that's not bad. um, a lot of the Smash Brothers fans who jump in on competitive when a new Smash game comes out kind of overwhelm the majority.
yeah.
And the melee crowd looks a little bit smaller. Um, but after that kind of dies down a little bit, Melee is really what drives the Smash competitive community overall. Um,
Well, it has been, right?
yeah,
I mean, we didn't get competitive over Brawl.
right.
But that's no guarantee that that'll be that way long term, especially with Ultimate and
For sure. I mean,
odds it makes back to Melee.
Ultimate definitely looks like it has a better future than Brawl and Smash 4 did.
Mhm.
Um, that said, ideally we live in a world where everyone can play the game they want to, and
Yeah, no,
everyone can
I
play
mean
that on
there's
stage.
not, if you want to have like tournaments for all the games, have tournaments for all the games, man. Like there's enough to go around. Like there's never going to be a lack of people, to like play Melee with, or to play Ultimate with, or to play both with. If you just find the right circles to be in, then it'll happen.
And then
That's pretty exciting.
shout outs to the 12 people I know out there who are still playing Brawl. Because I know somewhere on Earth you guys exist.
Brawl's a good like staging like place, right? Just because of how slow the game is. Like if you want to like understand you know, Smash Bros just on a fundamental level, dealing with a slower environment makes that a little bit easier.
It is where I
So,
learned how to play Smash. I mean,
well, and then that's part of what I'm referencing.
yeah.
It's like I knew that like when Brawl came around, like that's when you started getting really good because like that game is a lot more strategic. There's a lot more time to plan ahead in Brawl than there is with, you know, especially Melee and Ultimate, you know, which are much quicker games.
It definitely like crafted the way I play Smash Brothers because
Mm-hmm.
I think one of I don't want to toot my own horn, but like one of the things that I think I excel at is anticipating like the future moves of my opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're right. I think that just comes from playing a slower game and having time to think that out, and then I got better at thinking it out faster.
Right.
But that said, we feel bad for all you Melee guys out there. I love watching
Okay.
you guys.
Okay, one you can speak for yourself for sure. But I don't really actually feel bad for the Melee crowd. Okay, I just want to make that very clear.
Ooh,
Like
that's a
I
take.
get it, but I'm not actually that upset, guys. You'll get over it. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Let's get an ouch in the chat from Dream Drop. No, I do feel bad, but this also comes from a person who likes watching it.
No, I mean, and that's fine, right? That's fine. I'm just not upset that it's not at Evo, like, and I'm not upset that everybody else is like, 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 okay, it's fine, and you have every right to do it. I love it. I love it. People can react and they can overreact, and I love it. But I'm, yeah, it is what it is.
And probably the biggest story of the week, absolutely monumental. Nothing can ever top this. This is coming from our friends over at Nickelodeon. Super Mario Party and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate have been nominated for favorite video game in the 2019 Kids' Choice Awards. Wow, what an absolute honor, guys! There has never been a greatest honor.
I'm kind of tearing up right now. It's kind of just like it's a really big moment, man. Like, and I have such an emotional attachment to these IPs, and oh man, I can't believe this is happening.
Sakurai's back at the office in tears. He's waited for this his whole life.
He has this like existential dread that Smash Bros will lose to like Marvel's Spider-Man. Though he has a deep respect for the IP and he wouldn't be that upset, but he might go into, you know, a stage of just depression for about a month where he's eating too much and he's watching too many chick flicks and you know, all this other stuff. So, but yeah, I think Smash Ultimate will take it. I'd be surprised if it didn't. But also, I don't know who's voting on, right? It's Kids' Choice, so
I'm honestly surprised to see Spider-Man even on this list, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's a pretty big one, and depending on, like, who are the kids who are choosing? Like, is this a,
why is Lego The Incredibles on here?
Yeah, like, is any kid like, oh my god, yeah, like, Lego's hands down, like, that's the best game out of all of these. I want to know who's voting on these. Like, what demographics are they taking into account?
The kids.
Well, what does that even mean? That's so unspecific. A kid could mean a 2-year-old. A kid could mean like a 12-year-old, right? And that's a pretty big difference.
I'm going to the website. We're gonna find out. Kids KCA 2019 Kids Choice Awards, hosted by DJ Khaled. Oh boy.
It's hosted by DJ Khaled.
Yeah, this is the KCA's, all right. There's like no info
Oh
on
my
this
god.
website.
This is so funny. I just oh my god.
We're going to
Yeah,
Wikipedia.
this is the yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Nickelodeon Kids
Let's
Choice
see.
Awards. All
Is
right.
there no is there no choice process, or is this literally
The show honors the year's biggest television, movie, and music acts as voted by viewers worldwide of Nickelodeon networks.
okay? For a second, I was like theorizing different ways that they could justify
You didn't
calling
think there
it
was like a
the.
board of people, did you?
No, no. Well, actually, I kind of, but like the board would be made up of children,
Children.
right? And so there'd just be a board of 9 kids just deciding on like all of this stuff. And so there's just some little girl there, and she goes, wait, what are the what's the selection again?
Just
Where
Dance,
is it?
Lego The Incredibles.
Yeah, she's the only thing she's played is The Incredibles, and she loves The Incredibles. That's the one that takes it, just because she's like, "Yep, no, that's that one." Everybody else is like, "We don't play video games." Okay, we'll just go with that then. Like
I've seen The Incredibles movie.
that was the process in my head. I've seen The Incredibles movie.
I'm gonna pick that
Oh
one.
man, that would be so funny. That would be. Oh my gosh, I'm totally. Don't steal my ideas. Copyright Break Room Arcade. You heard it first. That's hysterical. Oh man.
We'd have to call it the
Uh,
Children's Choice Awards.
the ch-
We the Toddler's Choice Awards. We can't. We want to avoid any kind of potential lawsuits from good old
you
Nickelodeon.
just get a bunch. Oh man.
Instead of a blimp, it's like a bullet train or something, or a submarine.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh.
Dream Drop in the chat says Just Dance is way more competitive than Smash Ultimate.
Well, it depends. It depends. I like some Just Dance though. Though if I'm gonna play any musical game that I'm moving, I'd rather be playing Beat Saber. But I
Agreed.
digress.
Quite a few like little or third party stories from this last week, but I think the only one that we should really talk about is Persona 5S for Nintendo Switch could be coming autumn 2019. Getting this from My Nintendo News. And this comes from Twitter user Jared Oya, who's the same person who leaked the news that the game is coming to Nintendo Switch. I don't know this person's background. To me, this is just the Xbox rumor thing all over again. But that said, he says it's coming to Switch and PS4 fall 2019. And before May, we'll find out.
Yeah.
That said, we're supposed to get Persona news for Persona 5 this month, according to Persona 5 itself.
I mean, would you consider Joker in Smash to be like Persona 5 news?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
it
could
was like
that
it was
be
a broad banner of here's a bunch of stuff we're doing with Persona 5.
right? Okay.
So it's probably going to be Persona 5S, Joker and Smash. They might talk about the new Persona Q game. I think there's the dancing game I forget the name of. And there might be a few more things that we don't know about yet.
Right.
Dream Drop says they had that announcement for an announcement back in December. So yeah, we've just been kind of waiting. It's March now, so it could happen anytime, any day now. Yeah, so I'm excited to dive back into that game. Persona, the 10 hours I played of Persona 5, I absolutely loved. Presentation of this game's so cool. It's more of a classic styled RPG, so if you're into that, you're in for a
Right.
good time. Yeah, it's just oozing style. Great soundtrack. Probably the best thing about Persona 5's Joker coming to Smash is all the great Persona 5 music that's about to hit the game.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty much the last news story for the week. But quickly, Logan, before we close out the show for today, do you know what day it is today?
It is March 3rd.
The 2-year birthday of Nintendo Switch.
Oh yeah. I've had my Switch for 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years ago today, you started playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
That I did, and I put over 200 hours into it since then.
That still remains, over the last 2 years, to be one of my greatest video game experiences ever.
Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, I still rave about it, to this day, and I dream of what they do next, right? Like, how are they gonna push the envelope? And we got this stopgap of sorts, with the Link's Awakening remake. So I mean, who knows what's gonna happen with 3D Zelda in a few years? Like, are we gonna get like a sequel? Is it going to be bigger and better? Like, how are they going to optimize the Switch? Are they going to decide that because of that game, that they're going to upgrade the Switch and have a Switch Pro?
Oh, that'd be
You know?
cool. If I could go back and play Breath of the Wild in 1080p 60 FPS on a Switch revision, that'd be awesome.
hmm Well, and then in the same breath, like they could do so much more with the world, with that revision. I think like if they do a revision, like that's going to be the reason why they do the revision is to actually have like a purpose for it.
Yeah.
So if there's a game they're developing, they're like, we want to do the thing, and this is what it would take. They're like, okay, we're gonna do that then.
Even Super Mario Odyssey could take, a little bit of a boost in hardware, because that game uses dynamic resolution a whole lot, and it's super noticeable in a lot of places. But yeah, it's 2 years since the Switch came out. It's already propelled itself to be one of my favorite video game consoles ever. I put so much time into my Switch because it's so easy to pick up and play or pop into the TV when I want to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I've put over 1,000 hours into my Switch, like in the last 2 years, like easy. Like, and that's probably on the low end. Like, I think I have like 3 different games on my Switch that I've put over like 200 hours into. So I put quite the amount of time into my Switch.
I don't think I've surpassed 200 hours on any individual game, but I'm like 150 plus hours in Breath of the Wild. I think I'm 130 hours into Splatoon 2. And like 45 hours for Odyssey, maybe 30 hours for Mario Kart 8. So,
right.
I mean, each of my games gets an ample amount of playtime, which is good.
Oh, right. Yeah, I have 215 hours in Splatoon 2, 210 hours in Breath of the Wild, 225 or more in Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. And then there's a bunch of other ones like Picross S, 25 hours, Super Mario Odyssey, 40 hours, Stardew Valley, 20 hours, Mario Kart 8, 70, Super Smash Bros, 65, 10 hours in Tetris 99.
Already, wow.
Yeah. So I have quite the amount of hours. It looks like I put over 10 into Book of Unwritten Tales 2. Yeah. I mean, I I use my Switch quite a lot. In bursts, right? I haven't been playing as much as of late just because I've been busier at work. But like certainly popping on the couch and just playing some competitive multiplayer games on Switch is where it's at.
Yeah.
So
Santi says Smash came out, and after like one day, I had like 87 hours logged. Yeah, by the end of the first week, I had already surpassed like 80 hours in Smash Ultimate.
yeah. That's pretty incredible that you could fit like 87 hours within like a day. Like you'd have to be like doubling, tripling down, to really get those kind of hours.
I took a vacation for when Smash Ultimate came out. I do not regret doing that at all. Yeah, so happy 2-year birthday, Nintendo Switch. I've had a great amount of time with my system. I think I've had better luck on the hardware side than some people. My Joy-Cons haven't failed. My Pro Controller still works. My Switch isn't bending.
Yeah.
You got to take care of your stuff. But that said, could be a little better. I want to thank you guys for checking us out here at the Nintendo Stuff Podcast. My name is Brandon Miracle. You can find me at Babababs on Twitter. Find Logan at LoggyDubs on Twitter. You can find us as a collective at Breakroom Arcade. If you want to keep up the conversation with us, you can find a link to our Discord server in the YouTube description below. We have plenty of channels for all kinds of discussions. You can find matches to play with people. Sometimes I'll stream Smash Ultimate and play with viewers, and you can coordinate getting in there in the Discord server as well. Yeah, make sure to do that. If you want to help support the channel, there's a link to our Patreon in the description below. You can help us for as little as $1 a month. We really appreciate it. It helps us do cool things like send me to E3 this year.
Yeah, man. I should say that I've been considering buffing up our Twitch game. It's when I stream games now, I stream to Twitch and to YouTube. But I've been thinking about doing some streams where I'm just on Twitch and kind of gather everybody over there and gain a little bit more of an audience there. So that's something that might happen later today, which is why I'm saying it, because I am off today and I get to do whatever I want. It's only noon and the day is still very new. So just look out for that. I might play a myriad of different games on my Switch. Just do a variety stream or something like that.
Nice. I was also considering doing a stream later today.
We'll have to communicate that.
We can coordinate that later on. I want to thank all the new people who have been showing up after the Smash Ultimate streams I've been doing recently. I want to thank you guys so much. It's been cool to have some new faces around here. With all that in mind, guys, we do the Nintendo Stuff podcast. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice today. Every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time, except for days like today where we had to do it on a Sunday morning. We will always tell you if that has to happen. Just depends, because we work full-time jobs, and we kind of have to do the show around it. Hopefully one day that won't be the case, but we'll get there when we get there. So
we'll get there.
So if you're new here, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And we will see you guys next week. So don't break your backs, breaking the games. But for now, break time's over.
And make sure to trim your mustaches.
Hygiene is really important.